Hi guys, I'm Rob Shoecraft with 3 Storm Fitness. I'm here at the Body Barn, Gallipolis, Ohio. Today I want to go over something. I put together a series of exercises, a workout if you will, to address bursitis, frozen shoulder, very common shoulder issues. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical therapist. These are just exercises that I think are effective. I'm not prescribing them to you. Do not sue me if you try them and they don't work. This is just entertainment, okay? So what I want to do is go over these exercises with you. First I just want to mention real quick the bursa that I'm talking about, the little sac that helps lubricate and cushion the joint around the AC, around the acromion, is what we're going after. Essentially what happens from my research, when people get bursitis, they get a lot of pain, especially when they lift their hands over their head. The pain can shoot down into the arm and the forearm. It's real nasty. What makes it really bad is when you round your shoulders. Rounding shoulders is very common, especially in today's contemporary workaday world, where you're hunched over a desk all day long, or if you just have never had good posture. You're putting a lot of extra pressure, agitation on that bursa, and it flares up, causes inflammation, bursitis. All right. So what we want to do is address that area and address that posture problem. So what I want to start with is probably not what you guessed, but I want to start with the hip flexors. Now, why start with the hip flexors for a shoulder problem? Well, when the hip flexors are tight, so the hip flexors, your psoas major, iliopsoas into TFL, all the junk in here that helps you do this. When that's really tight, say sitting at a desk for 10 hours a day, when that's really tight, your pelvis will tilt in such a way, often anyway, that your shoulders will kind of naturally round, so like this, right? And it's, first of all, it's stupid unattractive. If you have good posture, it looks like you lose 10 pounds like immediately, but it's horrible on your shoulders, so you're causing that agitation on the bursa. So we want to loosen up the hip flexors a little bit, stretch them out. What we're going to do, get yourself a foam roller. You could use a lacrosse ball if you're really brave. Foam roller, PVC pipe, something like that. You want to really drive down up on the TFL, this little pocket, this little area over here. You want to drive down on the foam roller, really put a lot of pressure on as much as you can stand. Work that foot back and forth. You can kind of feel where your femur is working in the hip socket. Okay, once you do that for about 30 seconds or so, I want you to roll up and down the quad, the top of the quad, addressing the hip flexors, and then go against the grain, side to side. When you find a sweet spot, a trigger point that really hurts, go ahead and pump your foot again. You really loosen that area up. If you're real brave, I'm not going to cover it today, but I've covered it before. You can do some gut smashing, or grab a kettlebell and really just drive it in. Hit the iliopsoas that runs up, connects in here. That's about the only way I know to do it, is gut smash, but we're not going to cover that today. Just know that that's extra credit. Okay, once you do that, you're going to just finalize that stretch. The hip flexors, you can do a lunge stretch. You put pad down if you have a hard surface, or put your foot up against the couch for an extra stretch. But you can start like this, kind of go into a deep lunge, square your hips up, drive them forward, really stretch that area out. If you want to get even more on the side, where your knee is up, you lift your arm up and get just a little bit extra stretch. Hold that for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, just depending on how you feel. So now, we got some good movement in the hip flexors. We're ready to address the shoulders. We're going to start off by taking the lacrosse ball here. I want to really work around the traps and the muscles that kind of connect around the AC joint here. So get yourself like a door jamb or something. Put the lacrosse ball on it. You could start with a tennis ball too if you want. This is a pretty tender area for a lot of people. And just grind it in there. Just find the spots that hurt, make them hurt a little more. All right, you're gonna work that, like I said, about 30 seconds to about a minute. work that in there, both sides. By the way, do bilateral here. Do both sides, not just the side that hurts, but might as well address the issue on both sides. After you do that, if you want to, you can hit the where the pec insertion point here. You can grind the cross ball up against that, loosen that up, because when you have real tight pecs, it also will pull that shoulder forward. So we want to kind of loosen that up a little bit too. After you've done that, go at about a 45-degree angle, give or take, and turn your hips outward, stretch as much as you can. If you have a resistance band and a pull-up bar, you can even get a little more, but this is totally fine. You want to hold that about 30 seconds or so. All right, so now we've kind of loosened up, got the juices flowing around the AC joint. We have chest is loosened up, got our hip flexors loosened up. So we're gonna grab you can grab a broomstick or a dowel rod or a resistance band. That's what we're gonna use today. Put your arms behind your head, and you're gonna start up top. If you can stand, if your hand can go above your head, don't fight through pain, but you're gonna feed. If you notice, I'm not doing this. I'm not stretching the resistance band. I'm feeding it on this end and raising up, back and forth. And you do about 5 up top, 5 to the side, and about 5 down below. The side that is working, that is doing most of the work, that's the side that you're trying to address, the side that hurts the most. Again, do it on both sides though. It's good mobility exercise nevertheless. Then you want to walk up to finger walks. We're going to get used to very, very gradually getting our hand above our head, but we don't want to push it. So you're going to go up to, if you feel pain, stop. You can go up as high as you can, and then don't just drop down, walk it back down. We want to mind that eccentric phase. Okay, all the way down. Once you do it there, open up a little bit more like we were doing with the chest stretch. Try a different angle. So on and so forth. You got the finger walks, the step ladders, whatever they call them. Then we want to do a little pendulum exercise. So you're going to drop down into a kind of like you're going to do like a bent over row with a dumbbell, except you're just going to drop down and you're going to rotate back and forth, mainly focusing on the external rotation of the shoulder. If you notice, I'm not just using my wrist. I'm not doing this. All right. The shoulder is working here. The wrist is just kind of an after effect. Okay. Do those about 15 times each arm. Lastly, a couple things. You're gonna check your hands here. Just a quick little thing. You want to check your hands. You want to make sure you're not. If your hands are like this, if your the tops of your hands are out, it means you're having an internal rotation problem. It means your shoulders are rounded and your hips might be tight. You want your hands to be neutral or even out. That's a quick way to get proper external rotation. We want to strengthen now. We've loosened things up. We've kind of got a little bit of stretch going. We want to strengthen a little bit of the muscles. So we're going to do that by doing some band pull-aparts. Get yourself a mini band or a light resistance band. Arms straight out, arms parallel, straight out, and just pull back to the band. Pull back to your chest. If you notice, I'm not using my triceps. This isn't this. It's not this. All right. My shoulders are back, down, lats are engaged. And if you're watching my upper back, I'm squeezing those shoulder blades together. Really working the muscles. They're going to help get you in proper posture, take pressure off that bursa. And then lastly, we want to work on a little more strengthening the external rotation muscles, or muscles responsible for external rotation. So we're going to keep it super, super lightweight. And you're going to kind of do this little scarecrow maneuver. I like to do this a lot before I do like bench press, kind of because it really helps warm up my shoulders forward. But anyways, this is just a piece of that little half scarecrow. So you're going to externally rotate the shoulder up. You don't want this dumbbell going above your shoulder, especially in particular for bursitis, which we're going to go up. Again, if you're feeling pain, stay away from it. But you're rotating that shoulder externally, nice and smooth. These last the last 3 exercises we've gone over, you want to go about keep it in the 10 to 15 range, rep range, go through it twice, each arm. Cool. I got some people I need to thank for all these. This is a culmination of a lot of different folks who know a heck of a lot more than this stuff than I do. I'm going to link to those in the description. If you like this video, please comment, like it, subscribe to the videos. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, Jennifer, from the Body Barn, for filming this.
No problem.